One of the things that JD Vance was clearly implementing was a plan to win over some of the extremists on his side. I guess he feels like his tent, if he's going to run for president, which he is, needs to be so big that it needs to include people who openly praise Hitler, right? And we saw that when the bombshell reporting came out from Politico about young Republican leaders being in these group chats where they're saying, I have a Nazi streak. By the way, that person got another job in the Trump administration. Wow. And Hitler's kind of, I love Hitler, and put these people in gas chambers and all that. What was JD Vance's response?
By focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. But
he did a lot of, I don't care, look at this, doesn't matter, not a big deal. No denunciation, no condemnation, no clarification. Sound like Newsom. To that he doesn't want those people in his movement. None of it. And it was an effort to say, hey, you're sort of Nick Fuentes camp. Like me. That's what it was. That's what he was trying to do. Please like me. And it's going very poorly for him. Because that group of super far right, let's say young men, so like the extremist young men within the Republican Party, or at least that cohort, which are not representative of everybody, but it is a little section, hates JD Vance, despite him trying to become their friend.
What the hell happened to JD?
In that way. And let me give you some examples. There's this new right-wing guy who's known for quote-unquote looks maxing, like trying to do everything to look as good as possible. Here's a little context on him as we go through what he's said very virally now about JD Vance. And he's claimed that he's just ended JD Vance's career.
Today's guest has redefined the meaning of self-improvement.
I maximize all metrics of my life. I've just come to the conclusion, based on anecdotes, based on numbers, that looks are the most important metric, and it would be insane to not prioritize them.
He began injecting testosterone at just 14 years old, claiming that natural puberty wasn't optimized for the modern world.
I started with 300 milligrams of testosterone, and I did that for a while, up until I was 16. I'm 100% confident that I made the right decision in my life, and I'm so glad that I look a little bit more mature.
Today at 19, he's garnered a massive audience online, where he says that everything in life is determined by one thing.
So it's $35,000 for a double jaw surgery with full facial implants. I know the amount of money that I'm investing will pay itself off to a huge degree.
In this
So originally it was like, there's this young guy who's going viral for being obsessed with, he'll do this thing called bone smashing, and he like, until his bone structure looks better or something. Don't try that at home. But then it became clear that he was associating with those extremist right-wing figures that JD Vance was trying to stay nice with, like Nick Fuentes. They collabed. But then he and all the people I listed, your Sneekos, your Fuenteses, and I'll even show you Isabella Moody, which is not a young man, but is a big supporter of Fuentes. You might remember her. They all of a sudden went, we hate JD Vance because he doesn't look handsome enough. Among other issues, I'm sure, but Clavicular is this guy's name, or Clav, summed it up with, I don't think JD Vance is handsome enough. And so I think Newsom's better. Which, it's weird for them to say, and in some of their arguments, they say some really disgusting stuff that I don't support that being the reasoning. But like, they got to a destination, which is if it's Newsom v. Vance, they'll vote for Newsom. And it's kind of like, do I call them out for saying terrible things about Vance's wife and racist stuff and being kind of weird, calling Vance fat? It's like, first of all, I don't think he's fat. Second of all, that doesn't seem to be the determining factor of if he would be a good president. He won it, but it wouldn't be because of how he looked. But like, I don't want to discourage them to be opposed to Vance. So it's a very confusing place for someone like me.
I mean, like this next election cycle, who's going to win? It's going to be Gavin Newsom against JD Vance, because JD Vance is subhuman and Gavin Newsom mugs.
JD Vance is subhuman?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
He's got a very short total facial width to height ratio. He's obese, very recessed side profile, whereas Newsom is like 6'3" Chad.
So JD's very tall. JD's got to be.
Well, still,
6'2", 6'3".
Gavin Newsom obviously mogs him to death.
So
So for some of our viewers, I know that you don't. I always try to make sure everyone's on the same page, and we do have some viewers who might not know some of these terms. The one he keeps using is mog. He's saying JD Vance gets mogged by Gavin Newsom.
Interesting.
What did we say? We were trying to decide how to define it. Mogged means like pwned. Okay? Like you get one-upped or outdone by someone else. Like they're cooler than you and they cooled you. They bettered you. Does that make sense? It's hard to define some of these youngster terms. Pwned is one that Jaden liked. So after that clip, he went really viral, and all of these Groyper types, far right Fuentes supporters were like, yeah, we hate Vance. We would vote for Newsom over him. Got to the correct conclusion. Crazy journey, though. And I don't think Vance is obese, especially in the last few years. I don't think he's But again, what are we talking about? Put that up. Get mocked. So then Clavicular said, I unironically ended JD Vance's entire effing presidential campaign by calling him fat, LMAO. I don't know if that's true, but then Fuentes jumps on the bandwagon. Actually, Fuentes has been saying this for a while, and was saying, quoting, I guess, other people, physiognomy is real, post-physique, it's handsome Thursday, I only believe in beauty and aesthetics. JD Vance equals fat subhuman. Newsom mogs him to death. I would vote for him 100 times over just because he's handsome. No, not like that. You have to vote for the Republican. Like quoting the people again. I feel like I'm trying to translate a different language. Subhuman's crazy. I think they just mean like lower tier human. I think of subhuman like not human, but I guess it's like lower tier human. But now a bunch of these Nazis or Nazi adjacent people are all of a sudden bending themselves into a pretzel based on handsomeness to vote for Newsom.
Why are you gay?
Yeah, that's another part. They're so anti-gay, but their whole ideology is structured on who looks hotter, who gets them aroused better. Kind of interesting. While you watch this next clip, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate this show and us trying to wade through these waters of deeply incoherent ideologies, but somehow get them to the output of agreeing with who I'd vote for against if it were Newsom versus Vance. But the journey there is so deeply problematic and confusing. Then just to give you more from this interview with Michael Knowles of Clav.
You already look good. Why do you what is looking better for?
So I'm someone who just wants to mog, essentially. And I've done this speech a few times. I don't really care about, getting girls. That's kind of lost its novelty at this point. I just want to mog people.
I don't want to get girls. I just want to compare who's the more sexy presidential candidate. Is that so crazy? And also, don't be gay. Very, very coherent.
I want to have, a better halo effect and just better overall quality of life through my looks.
Well, look, sometimes a guy just wants to mog. I get it.
You know what I mean?
But this then brings us back to the spiritual point that I alluded to. Mm-hmm. I could get the looks maxing if it were about getting a girl. You couldn't get a girl, now you want to get a girl. Now, getting a girl isn't just so you can get laid. In my humble opinion, getting a girl is so that you can get married and you can have a family and you can have kids and you can be part of your community and you can, it's for stuff. I would get.
Clap. Nah, never mind. If you like, no, I won't say that.
Looks maxing if you say, well, so that I can get a better job because employers are going to treat me better and they're going to promote me. Okay, I see that's for something. But if you're saying if you're saying with a straight face, even with a new double jaw straight face, you say, look, man, I just want a mog, then I would have to ask, at that point, isn't looks maxing just vanity?
I would say in a lot of regards, it could be perceived that way, but that's my interpretation of it, and that's just my overall thing. And the word mog could mean so much, right? That could mean all the things that you just mentioned.
What do we mean by mog, I guess?
Just live.
What is a mogger? That could be Matt Walsh's new movie. Yeah.
A mogger is someone who's just like, I would say, the peak human.
This makes me want to drink so much that I puke everything out of my entire body. And you just see like my heart. I just hate my life when I hear this conversation.
I feel like I'm dying inside.
Michael Knowles is like, if we examine the history of the term mog, what is a mogger? What does this mean in our common parlance? Couldn't it mean that you're not focused on continuing your generational legacy? And then Collab's like, I just want a mog. Mog could be a lot of things and stuff. And Michael's like, interesting. Maybe that could be the next movie from my friend and colleague, Matthew Walsh. Yeah, I want a mog. I think Newsom mogs. Which again, don't let go of that belief, because if it does come down to Newsom v. Vance, I'd like some of the former supporters of Trump who don't like Vance to not vote for him. But man, it's tough not to make fun of when it's this redonkulous. Then you have, by redonkulous, do you mean of or by a donkey?
I wonder if that's a bit of cope for these deeper reasons that you don't want to talk about.
What, that I don't like JD Vance?
Well, yeah, I mean, because you're saying it's all about looks, but it's actually about these deeper reasons, but I don't want to talk about these deeper reasons.
Well, we could talk about
really good looking.
Well, we could talk about JD Vance. Like, I think JD Vance, would he be a better candidate and probably closer to me in terms of policy than Gavin Newsom? Yes, but he's just not going to be good enough to be deserving. I think the right has kind of let down the voters for the longest time, so I think I don't really think that right-wingers should just give support to these jesters who continue to underdeliver on their promises. Just let the Democrats win. That's kind of what I'm talking about in terms of just like why I don't support Vance as a voter. But
so you're saying no, they shouldn't vote for any Republican? The right-wingers should not vote for the Republican?
Not until the right actually wants to do the things that they're promising.
So is there a candidate you would prefer? I assume you don't actually want to vote for Newsom. Maybe you do. Maybe you are a Democrat. No. Okay. So then who's a right winger you want to vote for?
I can't support any Republican until they promise to make America mog again. Mama. Mommy? I'm gonna support anyone until they make America mock again. Mama! Mama! Mommy! That would be good. I'd support a little mama campaign. All right. Now we get to former co-host and professional crazy person, Isabella Moody, who says this.
Okay, he's disgusting. And honestly, isn't he taller? Probably the fact that he's taller makes him look less fat, but if he was shorter, damn, I've got to be careful on YouTube. That would be a freaking, this is why Nick's description of him as a jelly donut works perfectly. A freaking jelly donut who wears eyeliner and everyone is pushing harder than they freaking pushed the vaccine. It's really weird. It's suspicious. We don't have primaries. Republicans criticized the left, the Democrats for not even having primaries, just, pushing in Kamala Harris. But, oh no, we could do it with Vance. I'm telling you, just all the pushing that I'm seeing from all the mainstream establishment conservatives tells me everything I need to know. I don't want Vance. Screw you, Vance. I mean, he could change my mind, but to me, it just seems like such a major artificial.
We're going to have to bleep so many things there. I get it. I failed. Yeah. Sure. I'm sure Vance is going to work hard to win back Isabella's vote. By what? What do you want from him? Actually, I agree. Why would we pick Vance after the disaster of the Trump administration? True. But why are we talking about you not finding him attractive? It's so bizarre. And also, can I just say, now that Clav's blowing up in right-wing spaces, I guess, I don't know. If any liberal said this, they would have been doxxed and destroyed.
Charlie Kirk have gotten assassinated if he were Chad? Well, probably not, and here's why. Good-looking people experience something called the halo effect, so it's quite possible that if Charlie were to be better looking, someone wouldn't have hated him enough to assassinate him. What happened to him is quite terrible, and this might be an insensitive video to make, but I'm really trying to bring awareness to how brutal the black pill is. Looks really are going to determine the quality of your life to a high degree, so if you're not doing everything you can to maximize them, you're missing out.
I don't think people understand how, if you're trying to examine, I don't want to get too deep here, it will feel dumb to be like, let's examine the meaning of life. I want to mock. But wait, did I spell that right? Make America, yeah, mama, right? Mama. Okay. Now I got to question myself. I pictured y'all being like, oh, but I think they miss that there actually is so much more than your looks. Now, you should care in a certain sense about how you present yourself, and being healthy is important. And normally, if you're healthier in a very general sense, you can look better, quote unquote better, and you should have good hygiene, and that'll help you in social spaces and all that. Yeah. But it's actually so untrue, especially telling young men that all they should obsess over is looking exactly perfect and injecting themselves with everything and doing a bunch of surgeries to look exactly how they think is perfect. Because if you've met any women ever who are in happy relationships, I can tell you, yeah, they want to be attracted to the person they're with. And same thing with guys, they're a little more looks focused, but there's critical factors that you're like an interesting person too, and you can connect with them. And if the meaning of life, to me, a big part of it is connection between humans. And so then if a really important aspect of that can be a romantic connection that's like dedicated and devoted, I'm certain that someone who is a little less good looking by his standards than him, but who had an interesting personality and cared about other things than just their face, and had a sense of humor and could say more than just, I don't know, Mark, would actually have a much more fulfilling relationship with somebody than he would. Can you imagine being on a date with him? I was going to decide if I was going to do it. I was going to do the, yeah, you get it, right? So where did you go to school? JD Vance is fat. Well, what mog, joke, mog. Okay. All right, you get it. But the people like Sneeko are saying Newsom 2028. And this is in response to, at least there's a policy issue. Breaking Netanyahu announced that Israel's awarding President Trump the Israel Prize. It is the country's highest cultural honor and has not been won by a non-Israeli in nearly 80 years. There's a community note that it has been won by a non-Israeli. But regardless, that's the post that's being responded to. And then Sneeko's saying Newsom 2028. But attaching a photo. What is this photo about? Well, a bunch of these types of people, I don't even know how to define this group of people. Young men, mostly, far right, looks obsessed, online personalities. They'll compare Newsom's family to Vance's family. And they'll say Newsom's more handsome. And then this is where it gets into real bad territory. They'll go, look at Newsom. He has a good white family. Vance doesn't. So now you have neo-Nazi adjacent people who, this is what Fuentes has said, who would prefer Newsom because his family's white and blonde over Vance. So then for someone who's liberal and thinks that's an insane reason to vote for someone or not vote for someone, but would prefer anyone in a matchup between those two doesn't vote for Vance, I just have to clearly stipulate the nuance. Yes, Newsom would be a better president than Vance. No, he would not be a better president because he has a white family, or as Fuentes calls it, a beautiful Aryan family. He would be a better president because I'd agree with his policy governance more than I would Vance, obviously. But then you hear someone like Clav say, yeah, Vance would agree with me more on policy, but he just wouldn't MAGA as hard. So then in commentating on this, where do you go? What is the moral calling of someone when someone justifies an action and you want them to do the action, but their justification for it is insane? That's tough. Here's Clav getting into it with someone.
Listen to me. You can't just go around saying things and expect things to go well for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I know you think we do live streaming, but I'm high as fuck. I don't give a shit.
What are you high off, Coke?
I'm high off fucking ketamine. So if you think I give a fuck about the live stream, I don't. I'm telling you. All right. So don't fucking go around making these accusations. You know what I mean? It's not a good idea.
Gosh, so fun. Just wish I could be there. I wish I could be getting mogged or mogging. Will Sommer said drama in Nick Fuentes' world tonight after prominent groyper Virillium was exposed for wearing women's clothes and described himself as gay. Huge blow to the groyper community. Virillium blames JD Vance supporters for digging up dirt on his gay past. It's so confusing. It's like a whole different world they live in. I guess this is the Virillium guy, which, hey, is fine. It's fine to be gay. Not in the circles he runs. But is it not fine? Because have you heard of the conversations y'all are having?
It angers me to no end to see like people talk about that in a government way. Like there's only one person who should tell any woman, especially you, to do with your uterus, and that person is me. What are you doing tonight?
Yeah, so you see, this is what liberal women are missing out on. You know, like this is what you're missing out on, is studs like that or this.
Take you for a spin real quick in the bedroom.
Here?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Real quick, let's go.
He's crazy.
What?
I don't know what he's talking about.
I said, let me just take you for a spin, get a little pump in. What do you say?
What?
Let me take you for a spin, quick little pump.
Hey, do you have any other pickup line? He said that 5 times. Can I take you for a spin? Can I take you for a spin? Can I take you for a spin? Mama. Did you hear my proposal to the Vance campaign? Make America take you for a spin.
Not even close off, just unzip the pants a little bit. We get in there.
Right.
You down? Let's go right now.
His Riz is not working. Don't listen to him.
Bitch, I don't give a fuck. Bitch, I don't care. That's the thing. I'm offering you. I said,
Mr. Young LA, like.
Listen, I'm offering. Like, if you want me to
offering.
If you want me to.
That's fun, you know. Just being repeatedly denied. That's just really pleasant to watch. Ugh. So. Vance is in trouble. Guys, can I be really honest with you all for a second? The holiday news cycle is rough. Okay, can I be a little honest with you for a second? I have like tabs of stories we would do, stories we probably wouldn't do, stories we definitely want to do, but just in case we don't have any stories, we'll do it. That's that. Sometimes it's fun, but like, why are we talking about that? Because everyone's on New Year's Eve break. No one's making any news.